Hello, everybody. It's Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Happy to be back with you all again. If you're in the chat, pop in and say hello. So during the week, I was thinking about this idea, this concept of how we can use tarot to sort of help guide us. And I often use tarot as a guidance system, a personal guidance system. And then I thought, can we use tarot as a compass? Now, I don't literally mean a compass, like if you're lost in the woods, pull out your tarot and it'll lead you home. But there is that possibility that might work. I've not actually tested that out. But I'm going to look at this today and see. Hello, Rolf. Welcome. I'm going to look at these cards today and see how they may be my compass for the day, shall we say. Now, I have a couple of things, or maybe even the weekend. I have a couple things going on. So I'm going to start shuffling these cards. I have, right after this stream, I have to meet somebody for lunch. And then later in the day, I have an online workshop I need to attend. And then I'm meeting someone tomorrow afternoon. So I have several events over the weekend, and I'm going to kind of go into that and see how the tarot might be my compass for the weekend or for the day or for each of those events. Hello, Donna. So let's actually, we might as well start. This is an event too, live stream with you all. So let's see what my compass has to say about this, because I didn't really do very much planning. I mostly just kind of thought about the idea of tarot as a compass. Sometimes I'll prepare and lay out a few questions or something, but this time I just thought I'd let the cards speak to me. Sometimes even when you don't have anything to ask the cards, they have things to tell you anyway. So let's just see what they have to say about this live stream, okay? First card I got is the Hangman, which is very kind of laid back and easygoing. It pretty much sort of sums up my attitude at the moment. I'm, not particularly well planned. I just need to sort of take things in and try to find perspective on this stream, Second card, okay. Second card's the Fool. Nice card. So the Fool is pretty much taking things as they come, stepping out, being a little bit adventurous. Didn't plan much with this stream, so we'll just kind of see where it goes. And in keeping with the Hanged Man, I'm going to try to be open to catching impulses. Okay, the third one is the Star. And the Star is generally inspiration, hope, guidance. I look at it as guidance a lot. And it's funny because right now I seem to be looking to the cards for guidance. So I'm going to keep going. All right. The World. Sort of like in the center of it all, looking out into the world, stepping out into the world. Knowing where your position is in the world. That goes pretty much with the idea of a compass. So we'll let the compass inspire where we go with this. I might just keep pulling cards until I hit on something. So that's 4 cards. The fifth card is the Empress. And I would say this, very much like the Hangman, is a sort of a card of patience and waiting things out, waiting for things to come to mind, come into fruition, for an idea to be birthed. So it's funny because these all kind of sum up where I'm at the moment. I don't seem to have actual direction, and I seem to be just sort of like looking for direction. And rather than trying to find my way, I'm looking at the cards as compass to give me a way or a direction, to inspire me somehow. Hello, Ange. If you guys have any thoughts on this, pop them into the chat. I think that card is sort of telling me to be patient. Now, it's a little bit hard to be patient when you're doing a live stream, which is meant to be some manner of entertainment, and you want to present ideas or something to people that's worth their time to watch. All right, next card we've got is the Hermit. So the Hermit is kind of like trying to find his way, as I am now with this card compass, trying to find my way. And then we get the Self card. Who am I? Where am I? What am I? So this is kind of my introspective card. It's like I'm on the fool's journey. Where am I in that journey or on that journey? Where do I want to go? Well, actually, I want to find somewhere to go with this. Not doing great here, guys. Okay. And I just said that. Not doing great here, guys, and I get the Judgment card. So I'm already making judgments on how this is going, or how this will go, or where this will go. Oh, hello, SCB. And says, I always love your chill live chats and hearing your thoughts and ideas. Well, they're just kind of floating around there today. I don't. All right, this is good. I don't know why I just keep going through this journey of the cards. I think because I haven't arrived at anything yet that feels like a satisfying solution or conclusion. And that's what I kind of tend to do. Usually I start off with a 3-card or 5-card spread. And if what I'm looking for doesn't resolve itself, I keep drawing cards until it feels like I have found a point of resolution. Can everybody hear me okay? Because I forgot to check my microphone before I started. Let me just try to remedy that now. Tell me if there's any change in volume when I do this. Am I any louder now? Because sometimes my volume for the computer just sort of resets itself. And I've done videos where it's too quiet. And so I try to remember to push the mic all the way up, the mic volume. So the next card I have is the Justice card, and that is, I think, me kind of measuring out my path. I'm moving forward. We're all moving forward as time passes. We want to go somewhere. We want to get somewhere. Maybe the tarot is telling me I don't have a solution for you on the compass because you have no direction. You don't know where you want to go. And that brings us to the High Priestess. So that's like, maybe I need to go within and meditate on this concept a little bit more. Ugh, the devil. The devil's in the details. Maybe I want to find a little mischief, a little adventure. I think for this stream, it would be nice to bring up something potentially controversial, so we have something to discuss rather than something that's easy solutions, easy answers. Death card may just be telling me stop right now, reshuffle, try something else. And I think I'm going to take that advice. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Maybe I'll have better luck with my next event. So the next event is, this should be over before 1 o'clock. I'm supposed to meet a friend for lunch at 1:15. We haven't seen each other in quite a while. We used to be in a men's yarn crafting group, and he was the facilitator of the group when it took place in a local yarn shop, which unfortunately closed. And thus the meetings ended, but made some nice friends there. And they still have a warehouse and a place in New Jersey that he's still on the payroll with them, and he also does a lot of work out of home. And he also was a buyer that goes to Europe a lot to buy yarn. Okay, I'm getting suggestions to try the election. Don't get more controversial than that. All right. Discussion, hang, but kind of chat. I don't think he's doing. Oh, sorry. Oh, did somebody ask me a question? Oh, Carl. Am I doing readings today? I might do readings. I kind of want to go through this compass notion first and then see if I can apply it to the readings. So anyway, I'm going to see what it has to say about my lunch meeting. I'm going to a new place down the block. It's been there maybe 6 months or so. It's called The Little Hen, and it's a sort of a fancy tea shop. And my friend I'm meeting loves high tea and, fancy teas. And when I saw it, I looked in the window, I thought of him, because all the tables have tablecloths and fancy china and little 3-tiered trays that are filled with cakes and sandwiches, like, English tea might be. I thought he'll really love this. So let's see, like, will I be early? Will he be early? Will we be able to get a table because it's kind of popular? I didn't make a reservation. So I've got the Chariot, which is direction for me. It's about moving forward. And I would say in this instance, it might be keeping my options open, go with a little bit of spontaneity. Which direction do I want to take with my day? And suppose the cafe is full and can't seat us. Do I have an alternative? I do. There are a number of really lovely cafes in the area. I live in Greenwich Village, and there are quite a few here, including a favorite French one right next door to me. So I think this is sort of like keeping open to the possibility of change and being willing to sort of adjust to things. Now, this might not just be our plan. Maybe he's got something going on in his life that affects our meeting today. Hello, Beth. Um, Wool as therapy. Love that. Yep. Yeah, yarn crafting is a great sort of Zen-like therapy. I do crochet, so I call it creative crochet because I don't really follow patterns, and I only know like 2 stitches. But the idea of, using a single tool, one hook, and an unending line of yarn and drawing one loop through another loop is very therapeutic and calming. Donna says, have a backup plan in case the tea shop is full. And I do. I have several places we can go in the area. I also have to keep in mind that it's Saturday afternoon, and a lot of places will be busy. SCB, I think you may have more tea rooms than we do in England these days. Yeah, it could be. Most of them here are actually, they're not really tea rooms here. They're more like Italian cafes. So that's what's unusual about this place. It looks really appealing to me because I think they might have a wider array of offerings in terms of sandwiches and desserts and things. I'm really curious to see what that's like. Oh, making magic. Whenever I get together with this particular friend, it always feels like making magic. We're both creative individuals, and particularly there's an overlap there where yarn crafting comes into the picture, because he knows all his stitches and patterns, but he also is willing to improvise. And so, I mean, he's done a lot. He knits, he crochets, he does needle crafting. That's not, I don't know if that's the right word. Where you take yarn and needles and you poke the fiber until it kind of like comes apart and you shape it almost like clay. Is that needle crafting? I might have the wrong word there, because needle crafting sounds like it could be anything you do with a needle and a bit of fiber. I hope you can get a table at the tea room, though. I love those kind of places. I think that whatever happens, whatever direction we go on in our meeting, we will make magic, because when he and I get together, the conversation just kind of naturally flows in a creative direction. So it's been a few months since I've seen this friend, so that will be nice. Next card is the Hermit, which I am sort of a hermit. He is part of a couple, and he does have a lot of time alone because his partner is very involved in business and is not around a lot. And so both of us in some ways spend some degree of our lives as hermits. I spend way too much of it that way. But I'm mostly content with that. I enjoy spending time alone. And I love cafes, even, by myself. I love to go sit in a cafe in the afternoon and watch pedestrians pass by out the window. I take my cards with me and look at them, and just sort of, it's kind of slow down time, which is really nice. Do all of you enjoy going to cafes, or do you feel like you need company when you go? Or can you just go and sit alone and write in your journal or look at your cards? There's something really soothing to me about a cafe, particularly one where they're not, watching the clock and timing how long you're sitting at a table or taking up space. Does the yarn needle felting? Thank you, SCB. That's what I meant exactly. And Donna. And does this yarn friend also read cards, or do you bring a deck and read for him? Some of my friends that do read cards, we get together at cafes and we have fun. We read for each other, but then we take in the other person's input. So it's like I will read for somebody and then I'll say, oh, what do you see in the cards? And then we have a little dialogue. And I love that because we always learn something that way. It's not all coming from us. We pick up on stuff from the other participants. Sometimes I'll go out with a group of 3 and we'll each take turns. We use a different deck, do a 3-card reading, and then we'll all put our 2 cents in on how we read that particular spread. And this friend I'm meeting, he does read cards. I don't think he has too many decks. He's he learned on the Thoth deck, and that seems to be what he gravitates towards. I don't know whether he will bring cards and or yarn today. Sometimes we'll sit in a cafe and do yarn crafting together. I don't think I'll bring any today. I'm kind of not in that mood. But okay. We've come back to the self card, and that's a bonus card in my deck actually, that I use as sort of a significator or a questioner card, like, what do you want to know? What do you need to know? Who are you? What are you doing? That kind of a card. And a Virgo hermit. I am a Virgo hermit. I think this is actually this hermit card is kind of a funny card with the notion of cards as compasses, because it is sort of like trying to find your way. Since I'm retired and I don't have like set schedules anymore, I am sort of open to finding my way. Maybe I don't have enough direction in my life or routines or schedules. Although over the last week or week and a half, I seem to have a lot more things going on. So I really need to like sit down and plan a bit better. The moon card. Now, the moon card may be directing me towards my evening plans. My evening plans, I recently discovered a podcast about self-help. It's called Gay Men Going Deeper. It's the Gay Men's Brotherhood. And they have some really wonderful self-help videos. I've been watching them, and they also have additional resources. They have one-on-one counseling. They have Zoom meetings. One is a share of about 200 people in a Zoom room. Another one, they divide all of the people that attend into little groups or little rooms of 3. And then you go off with a series of questions and you converse with one another and answer the questions and interact with people. It's sort of help in socializing issues, which I have a lot of trouble with. So, this could, and I signed up for a workshop tonight on, I can't remember the topic now. It's like, I think it's called Compare and Despair or something, like where you compare yourself unfairly to other people and their standards, and then you despair over that. So it's kind of like, finding ways to not do that and to be more yourself. So anyway, this is a 3-hour workshop tonight. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I don't quite know how it's going to go. I think this is sort of telling me, follow your path, enjoy the unknown unfolding, and go with your reasoning processes, but also your instinctive thinking, thoughts. Because when I look at this card, I always think of a winding path, and on either side of the path is a domestic dog and a wild dog, which for me is sort of like the reasoning mind versus the instinctive one. And that might be a really good way to approach this workshop tonight, to sort of like kind of be open to instinctual things that pop up, but also be thoughtful and considered when processing things. A Thoth reader. Sounds like it's going to be a cozy and lovely meetup. I'm excited for you. I don't even know if he'll bring up tarot. I probably will be the one to bring it up. And I don't know whether he'll be thoughtful enough to just toss it in his bag. Or maybe I always have cards in my bag. So if he doesn't bring a deck, we can look at mine and have a little mini session. Next card, and I'll call this the last card of this, is the Star card again. So I think this has to do with inspiration and hope, and I'm hoping there'll be a little inspiration on one or both of our parts, and on my part, and on the participants of the workshop later. I'm always looking to be inspired. You guys here in the chat for this stream are inspiring me with questions and comments. So, I drew an extra card just automatically, didn't think about it. The Lovers. So this for me is companionship, being companionable, partnership. Whenever you interact with another or others, sort of making a connection, a love connection, or maybe love's the wrong word, not love in the romantic sense, but support, a supportive connection. That a heart connection between you and the other person or persons you're interacting with. Like, I love all of you, and I love my friend, and so far I've loved these Zoom meetings that I've been going to. So that sounds like, I think that's going to be kind of positive. I'm going to try one more and skip ahead to tomorrow, where I actually am going on a date. Maybe this might be the place to give you the full backstory on this date, because it's so bizarre. And I've mentioned it in other people's lives, but there's only so much you can tell about in a text, and the story is kind of too long. So anyway, yeah, this podcast and these meetings that I've been going to, it's because I turned 72 in September, and oddly, this felt like it was feeling like a season of change. I feel like I'm aging backwards. I'm losing weight. I'm getting healthier. I'm feeling more inspired to do some mental self-help work. So I'm questioning. I'm doing sort of exercises and asking myself questions, and kind of kick-started my tarot channel with a different approach than just flip-throughs or walkthroughs. And so, okay, I thought, first of all, I started my libido kind of got refired up, which is weird because I've been kind of alone for the last 8 years and not really engaging with anyone. I thought, oh, let me see what the apps are all about, the hookup apps. So I joined some hookup apps, and I was really scared about them. I was scared about meeting people, strangers that I might invite into my home. But anyway, I found ways to sort of like text people and read between the lines and get a little bit of better sense of the personality before they come to my place. And it's gone better than not. I've had some situations that weren't particularly pleasant, but more that were. But after doing that for these little hookups, I thought, maybe I'm ready for something a little more, something a little bit deeper. Maybe I'm ready for a friend with benefits or a relationship of some kind. Let me look into that. So anyway, one of these workshop groups that I went to, I was telling them about how difficult it was for me to meet people because I kind of do okay in Zoom and online with chat, but I'm not comfortable meeting people in public. Hey, Deanne. And so what I do, Deanne, you're kind of coming in near the beginning of my story. There aren't that many places I found to meet men, for me to meet gay men. Primarily bars, and I'm not a drinker, and I'm terrible at small talk. So that never went well for me. And then people say, oh, join a club where you have mutual interest or hobbies. And I haven't been able to find clubs that appeal to me. I mean, there was that sort of yarn crafting club, but it ended, So anyway, one of the people in the group, one out of the 200, and suggested that I join something here in New York called New York Prime Timers, which is older gay men that meet. And I didn't know the purpose of how their meetings go or what they're all. I think it's just meant to be a social gathering. So I joined, and I waited to go to my first meeting, and the election came, and the election was very down for a lot of people, very disappointing to a lot of people, and depressing. And so that was Tuesday. We got the results on Wednesday. My first meeting was going to be Saturday. So Saturday came, and I was kind of looking forward to going to this meeting to meet some people, and figured this was probably a topic of discussion that would come up in the group. So I went to the group, and we had to fill in a sign-up sheet, and it just so happened I was not that comfortable in the group. The same way when I went to joined the local senior center. There are some nice people there, but there are also some problematic older people. Like you probably know some kind of creepy older people that are a little bit senile or difficult personalities. People kind of let it all out when they're older, and they're crabby and they're difficult, and it's just like, oh, this is not real comfortable. These are difficult personalities to deal with. But there was this guy who was doing the sign-in sheets and collecting the dues for the room rental. And he was very patient and very sweet with all these people, these problematic people. And when he saw my name on the sign-out sheet, my signature and printed, when he saw my printed name, he goes, oh my God, you guys, you will not believe this. 2 days ago, I was writing a song. This guy's a musician. I was writing a song, and my lyric was, where is Robin Crutchfield when we need him? And you say, what? And I say, what? How bizarre is that? I mean, I feel like he kind of summoned me out of the ether. He wrote my name in a song lyric, and a few days later, I show up and we meet. You know, it turns out, because we didn't recognize each other, it turns out we were both in rock bands back in the 70s, and we knew of each other and each other's bands, but we had never met. Now, all of a sudden, I meet this person after 45 or more years, and we're both completely intrigued. At that particular moment, I wasn't thinking about, sexual compatibility or dating or anything like that. I just thought, wow, this will be a really fun person to talk to about old stories from the 70s and the rock scene, because back then, it wasn't very long after Stonewall. And while there was a certain part of the city that was sexually liberated and very open, the music scene was anarchic, but was more kind of heteronormative. And so I was sort of in a world of don't ask, don't tell back then. I wasn't really in the closet, but I also wasn't coming out to anybody either. So I wanted to catch up, have a conversation with him and catch up on stuff from the past, stories from the past, because I'm also working on my autobiography, and that would fill in some details. So anyway, at the end of the meeting, I asked for his phone number because I thought, we could go right into questions now here, but the other guys in the group didn't know anything about that, those people that we knew from the 70s, and I didn't want to bore them with it. So I took his phone number, and I had his email on there, and I sent him an email that night, and I thought, maybe this is a sign or a signal that I'm meeting this person, and maybe there's a potential of a relationship here. So I said basically in my email, hey, I'm 72. I'm too old to be shy. So I'm just going to lay it right out there. I'm interested in you on more than just a chat level. And he wrote me back and said that he feels similarly, or he's similarly inclined. So anyway, we arranged to have a Zoom meeting at some point this past week. And then we arranged to have a face-to-face meeting or date tomorrow. So I've been very anxious all week, very excited and very anxious, because there's a million questions I want to ask. And the workshop groups have been helping me negotiate topics like first dates and awkwardness. And, I have 50 years almost of questions that I want to ask him, but I had to put the brakes on and remind myself, because this was like an Eight of Wands moment, I had to remind myself, you don't have to you don't have to have all those 50 years of questions answered in one visit, one meeting. So anyway, that's what happened, but it's just so bizarre to me. It's like, you often wonder if there is something real or magic about tarot. And this feels almost like it confirms it, even though he doesn't know anything about tarot. But there's stuff that seems to be, it's synchronicities, things are falling in line. So this is just kind of blew my mind, and everybody I tell about it, because it's like, you want to meet somebody to date, and you think, oh, I don't want to go out there and do that. Why don't they just come knock on my door? And they won't. You have to put yourself out there. And I did, and without too much difficulty, following guidance from other people, I fell into a situation where I met someone that the ice was kind of already broken, because we have peripheral histories from 46 years ago. And so there's that. And then the next baby step was, the Zoom meeting where we could talk one-on-one, face-to-face, or online. And then tomorrow we will be physically in the same space where we can have more intimate discussion and interaction. But anyway, so I wanted to tell you about that. Let me quickly catch up on the chat. The election has killed my tarot mojo. I hope only temporary, Donna. I'm sure. Energy comes in waves. There's Robin. He's here. Yeah, Deanne. Yeah. It's just so strange. I hope so too, because we need your magic. Go, Robin. When I was in high school, I developed an interest in Dutch things, people, I think because of Rutger Hauer. Guess where my husband ended up being from? Holland, probably, or Netherlands. This is awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, decided from. Thank you, everybody. So, okay, so let's try our compass out for the meeting tomorrow. And then maybe I'll do a reading or two. It's about 1:45 here, and I have to wrap it up by 1. Also, my new live streams, I think, have been working better for me when I limit them to an hour. I used to go longer or as long as needed, and this feels more comfortable cutting them off at an hour. Even today, I feel myself sort of stretching to an hour. Could go shorter. So tomorrow, tomorrow the Empress card. This is a card of comfort to me and comforting, and this is a comforting card to me about our meeting tomorrow, because I do have some anxiety and the other word I was thinking of just popped right out of my head. Apprehension. Anxiety and apprehension about how tomorrow's meeting will go. And I think this is sort of telling me, rest your mind, rest assured, it's going to be very comfortable. I'm getting the feeling that we will comfort each other, we'll be supportive of each other. I'm already getting inklings of that in the conversations we've had. We've had 2 Zoom calls. And I was impressed with this man about how compassionate and caring and understanding his actions were towards the other problematic or difficult people in the social group last Saturday. So, yeah, I think he's going to have a comforting energy, and so will I. My biggest concern is we've had limited time together so far, and both of us tend to kind of, perhaps out of nervousness or anxiousness or starving for interaction, tend to overtalk. So, and once I get rolling, I do that anyway. I just jabber, to fill in silent space. And he was kind of doing that too. And I had to kind of butt in on occasion to kind of draw him back, because I felt like when he got near the end of a ramble, it's almost like he felt it was time to call the call to an end or leave or escape. And I sensed that was out of awkwardness or a little bit of anxiousness. So I'm hoping we can find a place where we're just comfortable to slow down and take a deep breath and relax and just be at ease with one another. That's kind of the goal I'm working towards tomorrow. Yes, we want to have a dialogue and interaction, but it shouldn't be frenzied, Well, I've got the Chariot again. So this is kind of me moving forwards towards the meeting tomorrow, I think. and what direction I might take, what approach I might take. What's the best way for me to interact with this person that allows me to both gather information, but at the same time find stillness and silence and peace between us where we can interact, but comfortably so. Star card again. Inspiration, guidance. This is guidance in a different way than the Chariot for me. Both feel like guidance. Chariot is a little bit more direction, and the Star can be direction. But sometimes I look at the Star. I had trouble initially figuring out how to read the Star card, and then I thought, a lot of people look at it as hope or wish fulfillment. And, when you wish upon a star, I use a lot of those little idioms, axioms, sayings, whatever they are. But I thought about, in the past, in the Middle Ages, when people were navigating the oceans or the seas, they had a star in the sky to help them navigate their way. And so for me, this is a guidance card. It helps me via inspiration. It helps guide me to where I want to be or where I need to be. Same cards coming up for this weekend. That's true. Nerves will calm down, I'm sure. Be myself. That's enough. Things are going to feel very natural between you. Do something sweet. Make him laugh. Let him see the vulnerable you. Oh, that's another thing that came up in the workshops or the sharing circles, is when you go on first dates. And I've been guilty of this in the past. It's like you always put on your best face. Behave your best. Oh, I don't want to share or show anything eccentric that might drive somebody away. So you're not yourself. And the group was basically saying you have to be yourself, because you can wear your best clothes, shave, get a haircut, do whatever you want to do to present yourself in the way you think others might want to see you. But eventually they're going to see you anyway. It might be 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months down the line, all your flaws or, weirdnesses are going to come out. So why not let them right out at the start? Let them know exactly who you are. Be vulnerable, and some of them actually will be looking for the things that you're trying to hide. Some of the things that you think, oh, that's a little too weird or a little too on the eccentric side, those are the things that sometimes interest other people. Or you might find there are things that you have in common that, you're trying to hide in order to show your best self. So, the star figure is unashamed in their nakedness. Follow your inner compass. Star can also represent vulnerability. Yeah. I'm not sure I should go farther than that. That looks pretty good, actually, in terms of comforting, calming down, finding my direction for approach. And the approach is, sort of like going with what inspires me in the moment, but opening up my vulnerability, showing my true self. Okay. So those are the way that I've kind of used tarot as my compass for the events of this weekend. If anybody, I have about 5 minutes left. If there's anybody in chat who would like a reading, that I'll try to use my cards as a compass for them. If there's something they're navigating at the moment that they need a little bit of direction on, pop your question into the chat. And if you have nothing, then I might just end the stream for this week here. But let's see, what is next week? It's still November, right? Yeah, it's not December yet. I've gotten into the habit of doing an interactive walkthrough the first week of each month. And I do have a couple of decks that I can share in December. They're not really December decks, and they're not new either. I found a couple of about a print ones that I got. So I might share one of those unless I find a new one between now and then. Or maybe I'll present what I kind of often do in December is some stocking stuffer ideas for decks. No, we have next week, then Thanksgiving weekend, right? And I think Thanksgiving weekend is, I think that Saturday is the beginning of December. Let's see. Heather is actually working on her very own abstract art oracle deck. Could you give me a small reading and see where I could expect to go with the deck? Yes. I don't often use oracle decks. Actually, in my readings, I have been lately because I found an oracle that I love that works for me. Often they don't work for me. This one does. Unfortunately, it came and went really fast. It's out of print. But and it's a bird deck, and I'm not a bird person, even though my name is Robin. But it got beautiful imagery, but more than that, I think the word and phrase prompts on the cards I found really helpful. So we'll expand Heather's reading with that. So I'm going to do. Deanne says Sunday is December 1st. Okay, so we're still in November of Saturday. So, okay, the following week then. All right, Heather. Oh, Heather, this is wonderful. I got the questioner card, the self card. In creating your oracle deck, who are you? Who are you, and what do you want? What do you want people to see or find in your deck? How can you be helpful to others with your oracle deck? It's going to reflect you in it, but think about the purpose of the deck. I'm assuming you're not creating a deck just for yourself, but that you can read with others. I think in the creation of the deck, you're going to discover things for yourself. I encourage everyone to create their own deck. For me, I like the idea of creating tarot decks like I did here, because in confronting the archetypes, one finds new ways to approach or understand them or translate them. Now, oracle is a whole different thing. And so it's like, I'm not sure how you're framing your oracle other than you say abstract art. So I'm guessing when you say abstract art, you're talking about something highly intuitive. Because when we go to art museums and galleries and look at art, we intuit things from the images we see. And that's kind of how I got started and what my approach to tarot is. It's a deck of art cards. And, when I go into a museum or a gallery and stand in front of a painting, I, draw from the colors, the shapes, the activity going on. It's kind of how I learned, or how I adopted my approach to reading cards, is by looking at the images and getting intuitive hits from them. Like, what does this card convey in the character's body language? Which way are they facing? Are they looking straight on to me or to one side or the other to interact with another card, or something beyond the borders or boundaries of their card? But yeah, I think you really need to My decks are going to be hand painted and individually created for each person. Oh, that's really interesting. So there's more involved in the process than just creating a deck that's mass produced or whatever. I'm going to go beyond the one card, Heather. I'm going to go to 3. You will have challenges. You will have challenges. And maybe the challenges aren't, I used to look at this as a victim card or victimization. No, this is not that, I don't think. I think maybe unexpected things will come up. If you're painting cards, maybe you'll spill some paint and it will go where you didn't intend it to go, but you're going to remain open to that and maybe find a positive from it. Or maybe that you're finding in your process that it's so tightly structured or confined in terms of the way you go about creating the art that you need to shake things up and try a different approach. Maybe play with the medium, use different mediums mixed together, or try something that you've never worked with before. Now, we're talking about the visuals more than oracles also involved words and language as well. So I don't know what your process is there, but Hangman. So yeah, I think a lot of your building these decks is going to be in pausing and contemplating. When you look at these images that you've created, you need to pause and think about them. Don't just create them willy-nilly like off a factory assembly line. Put your heart and soul and mind into it, and follow your intuition and see how they speak to you. I'll be really interested to see if you share these in one of your streams, how this process comes out, and maybe you'll make it interactive with your chatters so we can all have some input. My challenges are currently the best blank cardstock and yes, the painting media. Spot on. They have, you can get on Amazon if you want. They have the blue plaid blank cards, like the traditional Rider-Waite cards with the blue plaid backs and blank on the other side. And I got a deck of those at one point and just started like scribbling on the blank sides with a felt marker. And I wasn't ultimately happy with it. But, I think like $7 or $8 a deck might be a place to start. Or you can work with index cards and get a corner rounder if you don't want sharp corners. They sell blank index cards. Or if you want something fancier, you can go consult somebody at a paper shop. There are all kinds of specialties. And, maybe talk to some people at your local art shop supply place too about, I'd say get your paper or cardstock first, then go to, unless you've already got a wealth of art supplies at home, and then go to your art supply place and show them the paper stock and say, what medium would work best for what I want to do with this stock. She's going to share finished prototypes soon. Okay. Yeah, you'll get some good feedback the way. All right, so I'm going to draw from the Between Worlds. First card I got is the Valley of Knowledge. So, research your resources, Heather. You're in a valley of knowledge with lots of options open to you. Do a little research first about the media you want to use, the cardstock you want to use. If you have a organizational plan to the imagery or the meanings or whatever, do a little more research into that or think about that. dissatisfaction. Now, dissatisfaction, I think, is sort of like the justice card. You're weighing out your options, and it's a lot of times, I think, in creating a deck, it's more of an editing process than anything. So you're gonna look at things and judge them and gauge them and decide your direction by looking at stuff. And the architect, you are the architect of this deck. So you're going to ultimately decide what the end result is going to be. And architects make blueprints and plans first. So that goes right in with that valley of knowledge. And as they're looking at the blueprints, maybe something comes up. Oh, this corner on the building doesn't quite fit what I want, you know? And so they have dissatisfaction and then they make adjustments. So I think that probably is a pretty accurate reading for helping you with your oracle. You're welcome, Heather. And I'm actually gonna. See, it's 6 after 1, so I'm late. We were supposed to meet at 1:15, and I gotta do a couple things first. So I'm out of here, and I'll see you all hopefully again next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but see you then. Thanks for being with me today. And let's see, is Thanksgiving this week? No, it's the next week. Anyway, have a great week. Bye, all.